Okay, hello, this is Scott Lorenz. I'm going to talk about how to use and navigate a PDF forensic report. Now, this should be the second video that you watch after you've watched the video on how to open a PDF forensic report. So that's in a separate video there, show you how to do that. And we should also show you how to open the UFED Reader report if you're going to do that. So this is the PDF forensic report. So if you've already watched the first video and followed the directions there, you have dragged the PDF report zipped from the thumb drive off onto the desktop, and you have now unzipped it and unpacked it, which means that inside this zipped folder right here is the PDF, which we have then dragged off to the desktop, and here it is there. All of that is covered in the first video, so make sure that you're at that point there. So once you do those two things and you open the PDF report, you'll see a folder in there. Double click on that. Then we're going to double click on this. And this is actually my own iPhone 11 Pro Max, which I used our forensic software to extract the data there just as an example to show you how this stuff works. So you open that up, and here you find right here at the bottom the actual forensic report. Now you'll notice a lot of other files inside this folder. Those files are very important. Those folders are very important because they contain all of the items that you will find inside this report. There's a link inside the report that links you to these different things, like the recording, like the video, like the picture, which are stored in these separate folders here. So for instance, if I go into Files and I click on Image, all of the pictures that are on my phone are stored in this particular folder here. And when you open a link inside the report, it's going to link to this particular image in there, which is also why it is very important that you keep all of these things together. Do not, I repeat, do not drag the PDF report out of this main folder here, because then you will break all these links to these folders here and your links will no longer work. So keep everything packaged just as you unzipped it. Don't drag anything out of there unless you want to break those links. Okay, so let's just open up that. It should open up instantly on most computers. So whether or not it opens up in a PDF format or whether or not it opens up in Windows Explorer, all that is determined by whether or not you have a PDF viewer already installed on your PC. So you may need to install Adobe Reader or some other program like that. When you do open it up, it will have bookmarks in it, and you may have to open up this bookmark section here, usually done by clicking on the bookmark tab there. You can also click on the individual pages there also. I don't recommend you do that. But you can navigate through this by bookmarks. Why is that important? Well, because if you look here, this report is 89,000 pages long. And a lot of people ask, well, why is that report so long? Well, it's everything that I had stored on my iPhone. So we're talking about a 256 gigabyte iPhone that I hadn't used it that much, but it still has over 60 gigs worth of data on there, okay? So we can go over here and right click on this, look at the properties of this entire PDF extraction here, and you will see how big it is as it counts up. It is precisely 61 gigabytes in size, okay? So remember, we have a great technology today, but that also creates a whole lot of information that comes off of these phones when we do these forensic extractions. So it's just a lot of data. So the first thing you'll see if you click on the summary there, you'll see when the extraction was done using the forensic software, and you'll see a whole bunch of data related to the phone to include the backup password, the Apple ID. Both of those things I have marked out so that you can't see my passcode. I put asterisks over it, but you normally will be able to see the user's passcode and things like that if that stuff was available. You can see the phone number on the phone and a whole bunch of technical specs about the phone, the IMEI number, the serial number, phone number, all that kind of stuff. Source extraction, again, this is just more technical stuff related to the forensic extraction, the device information there, Again, more data related to the phone. There's all types of identifiers on the phone. There's my phone number here under the MSISDN. You can also see some other stuff which you're not going to need to know, the hash information that has to do with the forensic validity of the extraction. And you'll see a general summary of the contents here, which it'll go through and it'll tell you, okay, here's all the chats, here's all the contacts, here's all the cookies, here's all the instant messages, that type of stuff. You will see in red here deleted. You won't see much of that on a lot of phones today because we just don't recover that much deleted data from a logical extraction. There's various different technical reasons for that, but a lot of it has to do with encryption. So once something is deleted, especially with something with file-based encryption, it's going to be gone forever, okay? So you can generally see a summary that's anything on there. You can immediately go to here, if you want to see what's in the images, you can come down here to data files. You can notice there's a little caret there. Anytime there's a little caret, you can open it up and it opens up more bookmarks for you in there. We can just see the bookmarks on images here. We can click on that, and now we can scroll through the different images here. Now, we're only seeing a thumbnail image of the items here. So keep in mind, we're looking at thousands of different pictures here. So if we go back up to the images section, it tells you right here that you're looking at 77,870 images. I don't really have a lot of images on my phone. That's actually not a lot because a lot of these things are thumbnails and things like that. Not every image on here is something that I actually took with my phone. They can be attachments sent via text messages and things like that. They can be book things, screenshots from the internet, things like that, icons, all kinds of stuff. PDF pages, they can be album covers from music and all kinds of stuff. But there's a significant number of pictures on here. Again, you're just looking at the thumbnail, so you can scan through a page at a time like that and just look at the different pictures that are there. Some of these pictures I took myself, some were sent to me, but it gives you an idea of what's there. So let's take a look at this picture here of a cat. This was actually taken with my iPhone 6 Plus or an iPhone 6 Plus. And you're saying, well, look, this is an iPhone 11 Pro Max that got analyzed and dumped here. Why does it say it was taken with an iPhone 6 Plus? And that's probably because that's the iPhone I was using when I took this picture. And so that's the phone that I had at the time, which was back in 2018. So keep in mind, you might see different types of cameras that are used to take pictures depending on what phone that I had in my possession at the time. So you can click on that link right there. You can either click on the picture itself and have that pop up, or you can click on this link here. But either way, you're going to see this little window, and it's just a little security thing saying, hey, are you sure you want to follow this link? Is it safe? You can just click allow, and if you click on here, remember this action, then you don't have to click on that kind of stuff again, generally. So you click allow, and it's going to open up the actual picture of the cat taken right there on my back porch, and you can actually see a picture of the cat. So all the details of when the photo was taken and what phone was used to take it and everything is right there. And the actual picture, you can see the full-size image if it's available there. Okay, so let's take a look at this image. Let's say we wanted to find precisely where this image was inside one of these file folders here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to highlight just kind of the last part of that name there, and I'm going to click copy, and then I can come over here to files, to image, and now I'm in the image folder. I'm going to paste in that particular image there, hit enter, and there you can see it leads me right to this file, the same one that we're looking at here, and I can open it up there. You can kind of get an idea of how that works. What I can also do is I can back out. Let's go back out to where I have all of these files available. Let's do that same search again across all of those, and notice that I'm going to get 2 hits. Now, one is the one that we just opened up there. The other one is what we call a thumbnail, and you can see that's a much smaller picture there. So this same picture exists in 2 different places on this particular drive, and so in one place it's going to be under thumbnails, and another place it's going to be under the regular file size there. So let's look at that again, hit enter. And so most of the time when you take a picture of an image on the phone or it gets stored on the phone, however it gets on there, it will create a thumbnail of that. And that is for the purpose of seeing the little tiny icon on your phone screen there. That's why you'll see sometimes the same photograph in two places. But notice the difference in size. Here's the original size, 2448 by 3264, whereas the thumbnail is only 100 by 133. So that just gives you an idea of what you can do with the search there. You can also do this in reverse if you're looking at the files here and you're just looking through pictures, just in general, just scrolling through page after page of photos. And let's say you find a photograph that you're interested in. Let's go back. Let's look at this one here, and we can open that up. There's another picture of a cat, and you could say, okay, I need to know when that was taken and some other information there. But you don't have any of that information here just with looking at the photo in here. You can again do kind of the same thing. I'm going to click on this particular file name here, part of it, not all of it, or you can click on the whole thing and just highlight all of that, click copy. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go down to images so that I start out right there at this particular point. And then I'm just going to paste that number in there and hit enter. And then I'm going to let it search for that particular number there so that we can find that photo. And there we go. So you can see it took a little bit, right? Because it's got a lot of pictures in there, but that leads us right to the photo. So we had found our photo here that we were interested in, and we said, well, I really want to know some more about that photo. We can see that it was taken with my old iPhone 6, that it was taken back in 2016. And so keep in mind, we're using the iPhone 11 here, which is the phone that I actually extracted. And you say, well, why is it taken with an iPhone 6? Well, because that was the phone that I was using at the time before I upgraded to the iPhone 11. So this is a photo back from 2016, and there it is. So you can see all the information about that photo when it was taken, the size of it and everything else. But that's the way you can kind of do things in reverse, looking at the pictures here, finding them inside the report there. If you want to look at other things like chats, you can click on that section there. And again, this will tell you there's 151 native chats, native messages. You can look under my email address. This is essentially the iMessage there, and you can see the different messages there, and you can scroll down through here and see some of those messages. And you see it actually in what I call bubble format, which means you're looking and you're seeing what the user is seeing on their phone generally. You can click on, if you see a picture that was sent in an MMS message, you can click on that. Again, it's going to open up to a folder there. And this is a map that I send people on how to get to our lab. But you can click on that and open up the different images that may have been sent in a message. So again, it's a real easy way to navigate around in here, looking at all kinds of stuff, notes, passwords, recordings. You can even go down to voicemails and look at voicemails in here. Here we go. Okay, so we're looking at the voicemail section right now. Here's an issue you might run into on some phones. On iPhones, the voicemails are stored as an AMR file, and those files can be sometimes tricky to open. And so when you open them on just by clicking on the PDF here, it may open them up in a web browser, and then you're looking at a bunch of gibberish, and you're like, hey, I can't hear anything here. How do I play this? Well, you can look here. This shows you where this file is stored, user, Scott, desktop. It's actually inside the information that you downloaded, but you can see generally where it is. iPhone, files, audio, and then there's the actual number of the AMR file, 19149. That's the one that we want to look at there. So what you do is you go inside this folder that was given here, and you can open this things up just as the address indicates here. So you've got the Apple iPhone Pro Max right there. Click on that, and now we see it's inside the files folder, and then inside the audio folder here. So we click on audio, and there it is. The top file there is 19149 AMR. Now, once you get to this spot here, you can click open with and select whatever program you want. I use a
Thanks, guys.
free program called VLC, which you can download. It opens just about any audio or video file on the planet. That's my favorite one. So I have that set to default. So if I just double click on it, it's going to open with VLC and play the message.
Hey, Scott, it's Mom. If you have time, give me a call. I'll be up till 10 anyway. Bye.
So you can continue to listen to these individual messages just by clicking here. And if there's one that you're interested in, you say 19145, then you can look right here inside the PDF report and see who that was from. If it's somebody that's programmed into the phone's phone book, you'll see them there. If not, it's just going to show a phone number, but then the date and time the voicemail was received is in there as well. Okay, so let's take a look at call log. So call log could have hundreds of messages there, maybe more, depending on the phone settings and things like that. So you can see who the call was sent to. It'll either be a phone number, or if you have somebody that's programmed in as a contact, you'll be able to see their name. But date and time, again, this is just a record of the call. It's not going to be a recording of the call or anything like that, but just a record of the call like you would get on a phone bill. Okay, so contacts, you can look in the contacts. You'll see phone numbers, you'll see pieces of addresses and things like that. So some of it is going to be created by the actual phone itself automatically. Some are going to be programmed in. The user has programmed and stored them as a contact. So you can, again, look through there. We can see on my phone there's 4,314 contacts. I didn't program all that stuff in. So some of it is just going to be stored automatically by the phone. And some of them are going to be actual contacts that I've stored in there and saved. But you can look through there and see all the contacts on the phone there. Okay, so this has just been a kind of a summary, brief overview of what you can look at inside these PDF documents here. Again, there's all different types of files, formats, videos, and photos in here. Your PC, depending on what you're using, may not be able to open the particular document, video, image right away, but there may be a way to open it depending on what it is. So you can navigate to that actual image using the file folders here and try to open it there. You can Google and say, okay, how do I open this particular image or play an AMR file or something like that? But remember, we're dealing with all different types of data that are coming off these phones, so they may not automatically open up. But generally, the PDF document is a good way that you can see data and get an overview of what's on here. Okay, another good thing you can do here is you can do a keyword search across this entire document here. So you can either hit Control F here and bring up a search word here and just look up some information, like I can just type in Robert, for example, and hit search. Now look, this is an 89,000 page document here, so depending on the speed of your computer and how many pages it has to go through to find this hit, it may take a little bit to do on each search. Okay, so there we got a hit there, Robert Paulson, under one of my fake Gmail accounts there. But you can see how that search, as you hit it again, it's going to take you to the next hit of the word Robert, and you can just continue and look through the entire document there looking for the word Robert. But again, it's going to be dependent upon how long this thing is and how fast your computer is.